If your hair hasn't grown past your shoulders in the past few years, it's probably something in your routine that's working against you. I went through all these problems myself, and these were the biggest things that kept my hair stuck at the same length. Number one was skipping a clarifying shampoo. A lot of people think clarifying shampoos and normal shampoos are the same thing, but clarifying shampoos specifically strip your hair of any product buildup that you have on it. Normal shampoo is much gentler than a clarifying shampoo, but when I had low porosity hair before I bleached and dyed my hair, I would get really bad product buildup from the oils, butters, and products I was using on my low porosity hair. The only thing that actually fixed all the buildup I was experiencing, which then turned into a lot of breakage because my hair couldn't absorb any moisture, was using a clarifying shampoo, which is why I highly recommend anybody with low or medium porosity hair that's dealing with a lot of breakage and a lot of product absorption problems to use a clarifying shampoo on their hair. High porosity hair can also suffer from a lot of buildup, but high porosity hair does not have to worry about clarifying nearly as often as low porosity hair. So for low porosity hair, I recommend using a clarifying shampoo at least once a month. And for high porosity hair, I would recommend it every 6 to 8 weeks. So if you've noticed that your favorite products suddenly stop working, then that's likely why. By the way, if you don't know your hair's porosity, you can take the free hair porosity quiz in the link in the description. It'll give you the best idea of what your hair's porosity likely is. But keep in mind, since it's self-evaluated, it may not be the most accurate. Number 2 is ignoring or overusing protein. Protein is something people don't usually know how to do in moderation, whether it's something they completely ignore or something that they do way too often. If you use too little protein, your hair will likely become kind of gummy and really stretchy and break off pretty easily. Meanwhile, when you use too much, your hair also breaks off really easily, except it's really stiff and really hard and brittle. Fine strands or high porosity hair benefits from a little bit more protein in their routine, and coarser and low porosity hair needs it a lot less, but they still need it to some degree. For high porosity hair, I would use something like the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Conditioner every other wash day. And for low porosity hair, I'd only recommend using a protein treatment like that every 3 to 4 wash days. But the trick with protein is knowing when your hair actually needs it and applying it only when your hair tells you that it needs more protein. Number 3 is doing the wrong protective styles for your hair's density and thickness. This can be very detrimental if you have finer strands or lower density hair, because protective styles are not automatically protective. If your hair is fine or lower density, then cornrows, braids with extensions, any really heavy protective style is likely going to cause you more harm than good. Your hair simply cannot handle the tension that those styles give, and that's why some people notice a lot of hair loss after styles like that and excessive shedding. Some people even experience when they have braids in for too long that their hair all of a sudden is kind of zigzaggy, where some parts are this long, some parts are this long, and that's because your hair could not handle the tension in the style. Meanwhile, if your hair is higher density or thicker, your hair likely won't do that well in protective styles that expose your ends because they cause more split ends for you. So things like braids and cornrows can actually be quite helpful, but you still have to be mindful of the tension that you're using regardless. Number 4 is using the wrong products for your hair's porosity. If you ever wondered why a product works very well for your friend, but when you try it, it feels like it does absolutely nothing, it's probably because you guys have different hair porosities. Low porosity hair cannot handle thicker butters and occlusive oils like coconut oil and shea butter the same way that high porosity hair can. They're just too thick and just suffocate the strand and don't allow any actual moisture to get in. That's why for lower porosity hair, I always only recommend water-based products like the As I Am leave-in conditioner. High porosity hair soaks up everything really fast, so it feels like a lot of products work well for your hair, but then your hair feels really dry the next day and you're wondering what went wrong. And that's because the product wasn't thick enough for your hair's type. High porosity hair needs things like shea butter and thicker oils for the most part to actually seal in any of that moisture and to actually stay moisturized for more than 1 day. Medium porosity hair is the ideal porosity for anybody since it soaks up moisture pretty well and it keeps moisture pretty well. But medium porosity hair does still need a balance. You can't use super thick products and super lightweight products and expect them to work perfectly for you. Also, if you've ever wanted a hair growth routine based on your hair's porosity, you can find that in the link in the description. For all of my paid subs, they get the hair growth roadmap for their porosity. It's a series of guides over a few months that's tailored to their hair's porosity. It'll tell you how to retain moisture and what products and methods you can use to help grow out your hair a little faster. The link will be in the description. Number 5, and probably the biggest one I see people doing and myself, is not remoisturizing between wash days. You'll be surprised how much of your breakage actually comes from forgetting to moisturize your hair throughout the week. Even if your wash wash day was perfect, you used the right products, you did the right routine for your hair, and you sealed properly, your hair still loses moisture over time, which means you have to replenish it a little more often than most people think. Low porosity hair doesn't have to remoisturize their hair nearly as often as high porosity hair, but both of them still need to do it in between wash days. Low porosity hair, I recommend remoisturizing every 3 to 4 days. For high porosity hair, I recommend every 2 to 3 days. And for medium porosity hair, they can usually get away with 3 to 4 days as well. The only way your hair can truly grow out is if your hair is actually retaining any moisture and not breaking off just as fast as it's growing in, which is why remoisturizing is probably the most important thing on this list, in my opinion. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow all of my socials at BigHeadJustice. But yeah, that's it.